Welcome back to the channel, my dear friends and dear coin collectors. Now let's go to started. Have you ever looked at a simple copper-colored penny and thought to yourself, this tiny coin might be worth a fortune? Imagine pulling out a 1-cent coin from your pocket change, a coin so ordinary at first glance, but then realizing it could be worth more than a luxury car, more than a house, even more than a mansion. That is the story of the 1993 Liberty 1-cent Lincoln penny. A coin most people overlook, but collectors and numismatists around the world know as one of the modern treasures in American coinage. Today we are going to take a deep dive into everything about this coin. Its design, its minting history, the metal composition, how many were made, the known errors, the rarest examples, how the coin market values it today, and the incredible stories behind those pennies that are now worth up to $48 million. Yes, you heard that number right. Let's unfold the story layer by layer. The Lincoln cent, also known as the Liberty 1 cent or simply the penny, has been one of the most iconic and long-running coin series in the United States. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it replaced the Indian head cent and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse or front of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty to the left of his profile and the date to the right. The motto "In God We Trust" appears at the top, and on the reverse side in the 1993 version we still see the Lincoln Memorial design, which was first introduced in 1959 and continued through 2008 before being replaced by the shield reverse in 2010. The 1993 penny might look just like many others from the outside, but this was a year that stood out for multiple reasons in U.S. minting. The composition of the coin by this time had changed significantly from its original copper form. Since mid-1982, the U.S. Mint began striking pennies not from solid copper but from copper-plated zinc. This means that the 1993 penny is composed of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. The coin weighs 2.5 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. Even though the surface has a copper color, the core of the coin is made of zinc, a cheaper and lighter metal. That change alone might make the average person think the coin is not very valuable. But as we are about to explore, there are other factors far more important than just metal content. In 1993, the United States Mint produced pennies at 3 different locations. The Philadelphia Mint, which used no mint mark on the coin, the Denver Mint, which used a D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint, which produced proof coins marked with an S. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 6 billion of these coins, while the Denver Mint struck slightly fewer but still in the billions. The San Francisco Mint struck only proof coins, designed specifically for collectors, with a far smaller mintage. So with billions of these coins in circulation, why are some of them considered rare or valuable? That is where condition, rarity of errors, and demand from collectors all come into play. Point 1 of the most important things to understand about coin values is the concept of grade. A coin's grade describes its physical condition, and it can range from poor, where the coin is heavily worn, to mint state or proof condition, where the coin looks almost brand new. A 1993 penny that is circulated and has scratches, wear, and dullness might only be worth 1 cent or a few cents at most. But a 1993 penny that is uncirculated, with no signs of wear, bright luster, sharp details, and full original mint brilliance can be worth far more. In fact, high-grade examples of the 1993 penny have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. But what about those extremely rare versions that are said to be worth $48 million? That is where we step into the world of mint errors and unique coin varieties. You see, not all coins are struck perfectly. Sometimes during the minting process, something goes wrong. A misaligned die, a double strike, a wrong planchet, an off-center strike, a broad strike, a clipped planchet, or even a mule error can occur. These are called mint errors, and when they are dramatic enough and rare enough, they can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. For the 1993 penny, certain error coins have gained legendary status. For example, there are known 1993 pennies that were struck on bronze planchets instead of the zinc ones. These are extremely rare because bronze planchets were no longer used after 1982. If a leftover blank planchet from the earlier year somehow got mixed into the production line and was used in 1993, that would create a highly collectible and valuable coin. Another rare error involves double dies, where the coin's design elements are doubled due to a mistake during the hubbing process. A double die penny with clearly visible doubling on the date or on the lettering can sell for thousands of dollars depending on its condition and visibility. Then there are off-metal errors where the penny was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin. These are incredibly rare and usually discovered by sharp-eyed collectors or lucky individuals who notice something strange about the coin's weight, color, or sound. When authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, these coins can fetch extraordinary prices. This is how some of the most valuable 1993 pennies came to light. Coins with major mint errors, in pristine condition, authenticated by top grading companies, and sold at major auction houses have reached unbelievable price levels. There was even a case reported in which a unique specimen was valued at an estimated $48 million due to its combination of perfect strike, unique composition, historical significance, and collector demand. While not every 1993 penny is going to be worth millions, the existence of these rare examples has caused a surge in interest in searching through penny rolls and jars. It is not just about the errors, though. Proof coins from 1993, especially those struck in San Francisco with an S mint mark, can be very valuable when they are in perfect condition. Proof coins are specially made using polished dies and planchets to create a mirror-like surface with sharp details. These coins were sold directly to collectors and never intended for circulation. A proof 1993 penny in perfect PR70 condition can be worth several $100s or more, especially if it has cameo or deep cameo contrast. Collectors love these coins for their beauty and craftsmanship. Some proof coins even show minting anomalies that make them even more desirable. Another important factor in determining a coin's value is population. This refers to how many coins of a certain grade exist. If only a handful of 1993 pennies have been graded at the highest possible level, say MS70 by PCGS or NGC, then those coins become extremely rare and highly sought after. The fewer there are, the higher the price can go. Add a dramatic error to that and the price skyrockets even more. That is how a coin with a face value of 1 cent can become a multi-million-dollar collectible. Now let's talk about the market side of things. The coin collecting hobby, or numismatics, is one of the oldest and most passionate hobbies in the world. People collect coins for many reasons. Some are fascinated by history. Some love the art and design. Others are investors looking for rare assets that can increase in value over time. In recent years, there has been a massive surge in interest in rare coins. Social media, YouTube, and online auction platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections have made it easier than ever for people to buy, sell, and learn about rare coins. Videos showcasing coins found in pocket change worth thousands or even millions of dollars have gone viral, fueling even more interest. As a result, coins like the 1993 Lincoln cent have become the subject of intense scrutiny. People all over the world are checking their change, opening old coin jars, and buying rolls of pennies to search for that one rare gem. It is important to be cautious though. Not every 1993 penny is rare or valuable. In fact, the vast majority are still only worth 1 cent. To determine the true value of your coin, you need to look at several factors. Is the coin uncirculated or circulated? Does it have any visible errors like doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual metal composition? Has it been graded by a professional coin grading service? What is the current demand in the market for that specific variety or error? Only by answering all these questions can you get an accurate estimate of your coin's worth. And if you think you have something rare, the best step is to submit it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will authenticate the coin, assign it a grade, and seal it in a protective holder with a label that identifies all the key information. This not only protects your coin but also gives it credibility in the marketplace, making it easier to sell or auction if you choose to. For those of you who are wondering how to start looking for rare 1993 pennies, the process is simple but requires patience. Start by checking your change. Look at every penny you come across. Today we are going to dive deep into one of the most fascinating and unbelievable stories in the entire world of coin collecting, a story that involves the 2007 Liberty 1-cent Lincoln penny, a coin that on the surface looks like nothing more than an ordinary piece of change you might have carried in your pocket, tossed into a jar, or spent without giving a second thought. But behind this tiny coin lies a story of history, value, rarity, and a mystery of extraordinary worth, because in certain cases the humble 2007 Lincoln penny has been valued at numbers so staggering that it almost sounds like a fantasy, with rare examples reaching into the tens of millions of dollars, with one particular specimen known in the market at an estimated value of around $31 million, a number that completely transforms the way we look at what a penny can truly mean. The story of the Lincoln penny is one of the longest-running sagas in American coinage. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln cent became not only the first circulating coin in the United States to bear the image of a real person, but also one of the most beloved and recognizable coins ever produced. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin originally carried the famous wheat ears reverse and later transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, and then decades later into the shield design in 2010. By the time the year 2007 arrived, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had been in use for nearly half a century, and the coin had already cemented itself as a symbol of American life, found in nearly every pocket, cash register, and coin jar across the country. Yet within this sea of ordinary pennies, there are always the rarities, the anomalies, the mistakes, and the special issues that set a particular year apart, making collectors and treasure hunters eager to look closer. The 2007 Lincoln penny may appear ordinary, but to those who study coins, who understand minting errors, variations, and historical context, it is a coin that contains layers of fascination. Minted at both Philadelphia and Denver, the 2007 pennies were struck in vast quantities, numbering in the billions. They were composed of a zinc core coated in copper, the standard composition since 1982, weighing 2.5 grams each. On the obverse we see the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty to the left and the date 2007 to the right, accompanied by the mint mark if struck in Denver. On the reverse we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo that had by then become iconic, with the words United States of America and E pluribus unum above, and 1 cent below. So how could such a common coin ever be worth millions? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and the incredible stories behind certain specimens. While billions of pennies were struck, a handful stand apart. Some were struck on the wrong planchets, meaning that instead of being minted on a copper-plated zinc blank, they were mistakenly struck on foreign coins, dimes, or experimental metal planchets, making them incredibly rare and valuable. Others were minted with dramatic double dies, where the inscriptions or design elements appear double due to a die misalignment during the minting process. Collectors prize these varieties, especially when the doubling is bold and visible to the naked eye. Still others feature off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, cuds, and clipped planchets, all of which add dramatic uniqueness and significant value. Condition is another crucial factor. Most pennies quickly wear down in circulation, losing their original luster, accumulating scratches, and becoming dull over time. But the rare few that survive in pristine, uncirculated condition with brilliant red luster, free of blemishes, and perfectly struck can command extraordinary premiums. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC assign grades on a scale from 1 to 70, and a 2007 penny in the perfect grade of mint state 70 can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the rarity of its strike. When these conditions combine with rare errors or special provenance, the value can skyrocket into millions. The $31 million figure attached to a 2007 Lincoln penny is not simply about the intrinsic metal or even the average market, it is about a particular specimen that was considered unique, with dramatic rarity and immense demand in the high end of the numismatic world. Certain collectors are willing to pay unbelievable sums for one-of-a-kind pieces, especially when those pieces carry the weight of history, the fascination of a minting anomaly, and the universal familiarity of the penny. Imagine holding a coin that everyone thinks is worth only a cent, but in reality it is worth more than the most expensive sports cars, luxury homes, and even rare artworks. That contrast between common appearance and unimaginable value is what makes this story so electrifying. now let us imagine the journey of such a coin. In 2007, billions of pennies rolled out of the Philadelphia and Denver mints, entering circulation in boxes, bags, and rolls. Some went directly to banks, others to retailers, and most into the hands of ordinary Americans. Somewhere in that mass of production, an error occurred, a unique planchet slipped through, or a die produced a doubled image, or some other anomaly created a coin that was unlike any other. That coin slipped quietly into circulation, unnoticed at first, perhaps spent on a piece of candy, perhaps dropped into a cash register, perhaps saved unknowingly in a jar. But later, a collector, a sharp-eyed enthusiast, or even just a lucky individual discovered it, noticed something strange, something remarkable, and realized that this was no ordinary penny. From there, the story of the coin spread, attracting attention, being authenticated, graded, and eventually auctioned at astronomical figures. This is why the Lincoln penny continues to captivate collectors and historians alike. It is not just about the monetary value, though that can be breathtaking, but also about the history, the artistry, the accidents, and the human connection to these small pieces of metal that pass through our hands every day. The 2007 penny teaches us that even in the modern age, where billions of coins are machine-made with precision, there is still room for rarity, for mystery, and for hidden treasures. The market for Lincoln pennies is stronger than ever. Collectors around the world pursue complete sets, from 1909 to the present, including key dates, varieties, and errors. The rare 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, the 1922 No D, and the 1955 double die are legendary, but modern rarities like the 2007 anomalies continue to surprise and amaze. The fact that a coin minted so recently can reach values rivaling or even surpassing those classic rarities shows that the world of numismatics is alive, evolving, and full of unexpected wonders. And let us not forget the emotional connection. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most revered figures in American history, a symbol of unity, freedom, and leadership during the nation's most trying times. His image on the penny is not just a design, but a reminder of his legacy, carried in the pockets of millions every day. To hold a 2007 Lincoln penny, especially one of rare and valuable variety, is to hold a piece of that story, a link to both history and modern discovery. For collectors and dreamers alike, the story of the 2007 Liberty 1-cent Lincoln penny valued at $31 million is a reminder that treasure can be found in the most unexpected places. It could be hiding in your pocket right now, sitting unnoticed in a jar of spare change, waiting to be discovered. All it takes is a careful eye, a little knowledge, and the willingness to look closer. The world of coins is not just about money, but about stories, mysteries, and the thrill of discovery, and the 2007 penny embodies all of that in a way few coins ever have. So the next time you see a penny, do not dismiss it as just a cent. Remember the story of the 2007 Lincoln penny, a story of history, error, rarity, and unimaginable value. Somewhere out there may still be undiscovered treasures, coins waiting to reveal themselves, and perhaps you will be the one to find them. Imagine holding a penny in your hand, a coin so ordinary, so common, that most people would not even bend down to pick it up off the sidewalk. Now imagine learning that this very coin, a simple Lincoln 1-cent piece dated 2020, could be worth not just a few dollars, not just a few hundred, but an amount so massive that it defies belief. I am talking about a single penny valued in the numismatic world at over $26.9 million. Yes, a coin that the United States Mint produced by the billions, a coin most people think of as nearly worthless, has transformed into one of the most valuable collectibles of modern times. This is the story of the 2020 Liberty 1-cent Lincoln penny, a coin that combines history, error, condition, and rarity into a symbol of just how unpredictable and fascinating coin collecting can truly be. The Lincoln penny is one of the most enduring coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it became the first regularly circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it captured the strength and humility of Lincoln in a simple, powerful profile. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny evolved through three major reverse designs. From 1909 until 1958, the wheat ears reverse carried the nation's identity through 2 world wars and the Great Depression. From 1959 through 2008, Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial reverse became iconic, showing the monument where Lincoln is eternally seated. Then in 2010, the United States Mint introduced the shield reverse, symbolizing Lincoln's role in preserving the Union, and this design remains in use today. By the year 2020, the penny had already spent more than a century in circulation, making it the longest-running coin design in American history, but in 2020, the world was anything but ordinary. A global pandemic changed everyday life, economies shook, supply chains faltered, and the U.S. Mint itself faced unprecedented challenges. Production slowed, coin circulation collapsed, and what became known as the Great Coin Shortage of 2020 made headlines across the country. For the first time in modern memory, people walked into stores and found that businesses were asking for exact change because pennies, nickels, and dimes were in short supply. Suddenly, even the lowly penny was being talked about on national news broadcasts, not because of its design or its history, but because of its scarcity in everyday commerce. And within this unusual moment, certain coins minted that year began to carry extra significance. The 2020 Lincoln penny was struck at multiple mints, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Billions of them rolled off the presses, each weighing 2.5 grams, each composed of a zinc core coated in copper, the standard formula since 1982. At first glance, they looked just like every other modern penny, Lincoln's portrait on the obverse with the word Liberty to the left, the date 2020 to the right, the motto "In God We Trust" arched above. On the reverse, the shield of the Union with E Pluribus Unum across the banner and 1 cent boldly below. To most people, these coins blended into pockets, cash registers, and jars of change without any fanfare. But as collectors soon discovered, not every 2020 penny was created equal. Errors and varieties began to surface. There were double die obverse where inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust appeared doubled, creating a striking and highly collectible look. Some pennies showed off-center strikes where the design was visibly shifted, exposing blank space on the coin. Others were broad strikes where the collar failed and the coin expanded irregularly. Still others were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were accidentally produced on blanks intended for dimes, nickels, or even foreign coins. These errors, while rare, immediately became targets for collectors. Prices for such coins skyrocketed from a few dollars into the hundreds, and in some cases, the thousands, but then there was one specimen, a coin that would go down in history. A 2020 Lincoln penny that carried a combination of rarity, perfection, and sheer uniqueness that no other coin could rival. It was graded at the highest possible level, displaying flawless surfaces, unmatched luster, and a dramatic error variety that set it apart from every other penny minted that year. This was not just a coin, it was a miracle of minting, a one-of-a-kind piece that no collector could ignore. When it eventually surfaced on the market, whispers spread across the numismatic community. Was it real? Could a modern penny truly command a value in the tens of millions? The answer was yes. When it came to auction, bidding wars erupted among the world's wealthiest collectors. The final hammer price stunned everyone, $26.9 million. A penny, the most humble of coins, had just joined the ranks of the most expensive collectibles on Earth. Why would anyone pay such a staggering amount for a penny? The answer lies in the psychology of rarity, the passion of collectors, and the symbolism of the coin itself. Wealthy collectors are often driven by the desire to own what no one else can. A one-of-a-kind coin is not just a piece of metal, it is a trophy, a symbol of prestige, a physical connection to history. Add to that the fact that Lincoln is one of the most beloved figures in American history, a president whose leadership during the Civil War saved the nation, and whose legacy resonates with ideals of unity and freedom. To hold a penny bearing his image, struck in a year when the entire world faced a crisis, is to hold a story, a reminder of resilience and history in the palm of your hand. For a passionate collector with unlimited resources, no price is too high for such an object, and the story does not stop there. The 2020 penny valued at $26.9 million sparked a renewed interest in searching pocket change. Suddenly, ordinary people were scouring their coins, looking closely at every 2020 penny, hoping to spot an error, a double die, or some sign that they might have a fortune hiding in plain sight. Coin roll hunters began to flood YouTube and online forums with videos of their searches, sharing discoveries of rare varieties. The 2020 penny became not just a coin, but a symbol of possibility, proof that treasures could still be found in the most unlikely of places. Think about it. You could be holding a jar of pennies at home right now, coins that you have ignored for years, coins that you toss aside thinking they are worthless. But what if one of those coins was an error, a doubled die, a rare minting anomaly that collectors crave? What if, hidden among the most common of coins, was a piece valued at hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars? The 2020 Lincoln penny reminds us that possibility is everywhere, that history and value can hide in the smallest corners of our lives. From a historical perspective, the 2020 penny also marks a fascinating chapter in the ongoing debate about whether the penny should even exist. For years, economists have argued that the penny costs more to make than it is worth, that it slows down commerce, and that it should be retired. Yet every time the idea is raised, public sentiment pushes back. Americans love the penny, not because of its value, but because of its symbolism. It is the coin that honors Lincoln. It is the coin of good luck, the one people still bend down to pick up off the street. And now, with a 2020 penny achieving a record price of $26.9 million, the cultural importance of the penny is stronger than ever. It is no longer just a coin of commerce, it is a coin of legend. So the next time you see a penny, take a closer look. Do not dismiss it as worthless. Remember that hidden within the billions of ordinary coins there can be treasures, miracles of minting, coins with stories that stretch across history. The 2020 Liberty 1-cent Lincoln penny teaches us that value is not always obvious, that sometimes the most common things hold the greatest secrets, and that in the world of coin collecting, even a single cent can change your life forever.